Hello, this is a review of the OXO Good Grips 12-inch tongs with the metal ends. Now I really like these tongs. The number one thing I wanted with a pair of tongs like this was the length. To be able to work over a heat source without putting my hand directly in the way. Now especially when barbecuing is when I use these the most, is that if I'm working over a grill, the flame can be over here, but my hand is all the way over here, for example. I use these to flip hot dogs, pick up a bun, so if I'm grilling a bun, I'll just put the bun, take my bun, put it here, be able to flip it over, and I get a lot of control with these, and the metal ends will handle the heat of your barbecue without worrying about it. And overall, I just not putting my hand in danger when I do that. And if you compare that to the tongs that people might be used to from long ago, or tongs like this, you have to put your hand much more close to the fire in order to use them. And the teeth style in these other ones are okay, but it's never seemed quite as much control, especially because this thing, if it moves out of your way, so if, would cause the ends not be able to come together just right. So that's where these have a different mechanism. They have this sliding mechanism at the end, and basically you can just push it in, and you can do it with one hand too, and then they separate, and you can push them together with one hand if you need to as well, so that you can set it down. I prefer this style because it doesn't get in the way of the mechanism later. But beware that when you put it in a dish drainer, if you drop it too heavily, you cause it to open up. It doesn't slide that easily that you couldn't just set it in a dish drainer without it opening after you've washed them. They have a rubber grip along the sides, which makes it a little more comfortable to use, and I rather like that. Now remember, as metal ends on the tongs, these cannot be used on a non-stick surface, that you'll end up scratching it. And there's different solutions to these problems. And that is, if you're going to work in a non-stick fry pan, you need to switch to what is basically the exact same tongs, except with the nylon ends. They also have versions of this, I think, with silicone ends that look the same. But with the nylon ends, they have this other heat-resistant material that is plenty for working in your frying pan. So this is what I use if I have sausages or obviously anything. Like if I'm cooking a stir-fry meal in a pan, you can run this around without worrying about scratching your pan. Whereas these most definitely would cause scratching, the metal ones. So within any kitchen, you probably need both for different purposes. I don't know how well these would handle on a barbecue. So I personally use these all the time when I'm going to work on my barbecue. Now remember, these ends are not a non-stick surface, so material will stick to them just as they would to any other metal, and you'll have to clean them off when you're done. I use these rather heavily, and I obviously have no problem with the residue sticking on for the long haul because these look pretty clean. These are at least 5 to 7 years old. So use the nylon ones when you need to work in a pan, and you get plenty of control with these. So I can definitely pick up items. I don't have any problem. I feel like it's just like an extension of my hand. I feel like I had better control than with the old school tongs that we see there. But if you need even better control, that's where OXO also makes these with a flat head, and these are more flexible. So as you see, I can squeeze. You can get in and more gently flip something. And so these are used when you need to replace it. Do a better job than just flipping with a spatula, and can give you some good control to flip things. But let's stick to the review of the metal tongs. So size-wise, they are 12 inches and then some if you consider the extended end on them for this here. So I think they're great. It's just you'll probably need an array of tongs, and personally this is my array for my home. I really almost never ever use these. I use these to pull things out of a toaster. So if you have something stuck in a toaster, these are a little unwieldy to try to get down there because they're not as narrow. So if I need to go pull a piece of toast out of a toaster, that's what these little silicone tongs were for. But most of the time for normal cooking, I'm picking between these depending on whether I'm on a non-stick surface and the amount of control I want. Thank you for watching the review.